Our today's case sparked a lot of debate, both online and offline in South Korea, because a lot of people were really pissed off about how this case turned out, how the length of the prison sentence for the offender, everything that had to do with this case was just so maddening to a lot of people in South Korea. So today we are going to talk about the case of Cho Do Soon. This happened in South Korea in 2008. This is the case of Nayoung. This is not really her name. She's being shielded by the media and the government. This case happened to an 8-year-old. So viewers' discretion is advised. If you cannot listen to cases that had to do with child rape and all of that, please just click out and watch other videos. I know I need views, I need engagement, but if you are not able to listen to this because it's very horrific, you can just click out and come back later to watch something else on my channel. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Linda Kamara and you're on Crime Stories with Linda. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, please do well to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So let's just get into it. This case happened in 2008 on December 11th. So it was a very cold day. So December in various countries is a very cold month. It's a winter month, so it was very cold. It was so chilling. So on 11th December, a little girl named Nayoung, that's not her real name, I've said that before. So she was going to school. She had dressed up from home and she was going to school. Her neighborhood from her place to the school is not far, so she had to like make the 2 minutes walk to her school. So she was going to the school. She passed an alleyway where there was a man there smoking cigarettes. So he passed the man and walked on going to school. So the man just stopped her and asked her if she was going to church. She said no to the man, that she was not going to church. The man said, I left him, and she said no to the man that she was not going to church. So she actually left the man and was walking on her way to school. So the man just said, no, you must go to church. She just pulled her into the church because that church there was just open because they left it open for church members that would want to come in to pray and all of that. So they left the church open. So he pulled her in and took her to one of the church bathrooms. So he opened the church bathroom. It was a single bathroom that had a toilet with a brown floor, and everyone was just so chilly because it was cold. So he forcefully pulled the girl to that bathroom and asked the girl to suck on him orally on his private area. He opened it and asked the girl to perform oral X. So the little girl said no. So he was so mad. He beat the girl mercilessly. He beat the girl up so much. The girl had wounds all over her body. So as he was forcing her, he had to bite the girl on her cheek. He beat down on this little girl's cheek. Then he now tried he now strangled her. He strangled her so that he'll be able to weaken her to the extent that she will not be able to fight him anymore, because the little girl was fighting him. So he was able to strangle her and lay her down and violently essayed her. He violently essayed this little girl both through the front and through the back. This little girl of 8 years old. He did that to this little girl and violently did that. After that, then after beating her up, biting on her cheek, violently essaying her both through the front and through the back, he just removed the faucet in the sink and left the water flowing. The very cold water coming out of that tap was just flowing, and the girl had fainted. So yeah, as he strangled her, the girl had fainted. She passed out when this man was doing all of this. Then After doing that, he left the tap open, and the water was just flowing and flowing and flowing all over the girl. Even though the water was so cold, he didn't have any human feeling in him. He just left this little girl there and left. He just left her there, and water was just flowing. He felt that the water would be able to cover his DNA. He just left the girl there and left. This little girl, when the man left some minutes later, she woke up. She had to muster up courage, muster up all the strength that is left in her to crawl out of that bathroom stall and crawl to like compound. So when she got there, one of the church members were able to, coming into the church, was able to see her, and the woman screamed and had to call 911, and the police came to that place and rescued the girl and took her to the hospital. And when they got to the hospital, the extent of the damage was so disheartening. The large intestine from this girl's tummy was out of her private area. Her large intestine was out, was in fact, things that were supposed to be inside this girl were already out of her. So she was unconscious. The doctors were really saddened. They didn't know what to tell the parents. They told them that she had like 10% chance of surviving this, because things inside her tummy were already out of her genitals. So this girl was just, I can't fathom how Asa can lead to that. That means this man violently Asa this girl to the extent that her large intestine was outside her genitals. So they told the parents that it would be very hard, that they don't know what will happen, that she had only 10% chance of surviving this. And the doctors did all their best. She was in surgery for 8 hours. After the surgery, luckily she woke up. And when she woke up, the police were just hovering all over her bed, and they started asking her questions. They were able to pull out a lineup of faces, of pictures, and she was able to identify this man from that lineup. So, and she identified the man that committed this crime and said, this is the man that did this. So they asked her questions, and she had a very good memory. She was able to give them the details of everything that happened, the details down to the color of the clothes the man was wearing, everything, the shape of his head, the color of his hair, everything down to the shoes that he was wearing. The girl was able to describe everything to the police, and the police had to go and look for Cho Do Soon. And apparently, after committing this crime, he just went back home and slept off. While this girl was battling with her life, he was sleeping at home. So when they able to know the person that did this, 2 days after he committed this crime, he was arrested on December 13th. So he was taken to the station, and they were asking him questions. At first he was denying it. He said no, that he was not the one that did that he has never seen this girl before in his life, that he doesn't even know this girl, that she was lying, that she was not the one that did this. So they had to pull out CCTV coverage of that area. They saw the CCTV was able to capture him going into the church, coming out of that bedroom store. The CCTV captured him. Even his fingerprints were on the doorknobs of the bathroom store. His fingerprints were all over the place. His DNA was there. So he could not deny it. So they were asking him questions. He was still denying it, even though the evidence was very glaring. He was still denying that he never did this. After Nayoung was discharged from the hospital, she was also called in for interrogation by the police, and the police will sit her down and start asking her questions about what happened to her, and she will have to relive these things and tell her story. After telling her story, the police officer will look at the tape recorder and say, I didn't even know that this was not on. He would try to on it and ask her to, okay, repeat what you said again. And Nayoung will start from the beginning. I was going to school. I saw him at the alleyway, and she would recount everything that she had told them. And they will look at the tape recorder and say it's not working again. And they didn't work. Oh, sorry, we didn't know that it was not working. This girl continued recounting her story 4 good times. Counted this story to these people 4 good times. It was just so disheartening. No, anybody that heard about this interrogation was so mad at the police. Why would they make her recount this 4 times if they knew that their recorder was not working? Couldn't they have told her to go, because she was still in pain? This was like days after her surgery. She was still recovering. This girl had a lot of, I've not even, let me even go into what she had. They had to reconstruct a new anus for her. Her anus was torn apart, as in it was destroyed. They had to reconstruct they had to do colostomy for her. Then they had to put a hole on her tummy so that we'll be able to desiccate and everything through that tummy. She had a colostomy bag. They're collecting her poop and her fecal matter, everything had to go through that place. She could no longer use her genital area to defecate. She had to go with her colostomy bag that collects her fecal matter, everything. So this girl this man destroyed, disfigured this little girl's life. She was just 8 years old, a little girl of 8. So when they invited her to the station and they were asking her those questions, and she was recounting, she counted it 4 times. They were still saying that their recorder was not good. At the 4th time, they said okay, that they have been able to record whatever the answers that she gave them. So during the trial, they had already arrested Cho Do Soon. He has been in custody for a while. So during the trial, because Cho Do Soon was still saying that he never did this, he never committed this crime. During the trial, they had to call Nayoung to still recount what happened to her during the trial. They could not use the recorder, the recorded one that she did. They said it's no longer good or something like that. So she had to recount it again in court. And they used like a frame to demarcate her from Cho Do Soon, so that she will not be able to see her. But it was a transparent frame. She can still see him. They didn't protect this girl at all. She had to recount this thing in court again, an 8-year-old child. How hard can it be for them to get a good working tape recorder to record this girl, this thing once and for all? She had to recount it in that court, and as they were asking her questions and cross-examining her, she said that she was describing how Cho Do Soon was on that day. Then she said that she smelled cigarettes in his breath, and then she smelled a hint of alcohol. Immediately, Cho Do Soon and his defense team heard about that. They had to zone in. They zeroed in on that because they knew that in South Korean law there is like a loophole there for if you commit a crime when you are drunk. So Cho Do Soon now started chanting that he changed his testimony that he was drunk. First of all, during the trial, he changed his testimony that yes, because he knew that they caught him on CCTV. He said, okay, yes, I was there. I heard this guy. I heard the little girl's voice. That was why I traced her voice. I went to that bathroom to save her. Immediately I got there, I saw a man running out of the bathroom. So I was just trying to save her. That was why the CCTV caught my face there. That was why I was there. That was why, in fact, that was why his DNA was there or something like that. That was why his fingerprints were there. So he was towing that line at first before nayoung now, when they continued asking her questions, she now said that she smelled cigarette in his breath and a hint of alcohol. They now left that path and now zeroed in on the other side. They said yes, that now that he can remember, I actually committed this crime, but the reason why he committed this crime was because he was drunk. He was so drunk that day that he could not even remember, that he doesn't have any memory of what happened to him that day. I cannot remember what happened. That yes, he did commit this crime, but cannot recollect it. Doesn't know what happened. So that was the route that he chose now. So, and after much deliberations, because they said he said he was drunk, and they could not really prove that whether he was drunk or not, because for someone to clean his wipe off his he cleaned his fingerprints there. If he was a drunk person, if he was drunk and mentally impaired as at the time that he committed this crime, wouldn't have had that mental capacity to clean the crime scene. He mopped the areas that he stepped on. He cleaned some part of the crime scene. So for someone that is mentally impaired, he wouldn't have had that sense, that mental capacity to do all of that. But he was claiming that he was actually very drunk that day. So because he was drunk, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison, to be released after 12 years. So the people were livid. People were so angry that why would they sentence this guy to 12 years? Why will he be sentenced to 12 years imprisonment? He was supposed to be sentenced to 24 years imprisonment. That 24 years imprisonment, because he said that he was drunk, and according to their law, according to the law in South Korea, if the person was not mentally aware of when they committed the crime, well, during the time they committed the crime, that the sentence will have to be halved. So he was halved from that 24 years to 12 years. He had to serve 12 years. And even Cho Do Soon was not having it. He didn't even like that they gave him that 12 years. So he was appealing it, that he shouldn't be made to serve 12 years, because some of the people that actually played that alcohol card, they were given 2 years. Some were given 2 years, some were given 3 years. But this Cho Do Soon was a repeat offender. Cho Do Soon had been to prison in the 80s. It was said that he had like 17 in his criminal record. He had like 17 crimes there that he had committed. One was done in the 80s, that he also essayed a 19-year-old girl. So he had a very long rap sheet. So he was sentenced to 12 years imprisonment, and there was no room for any appeals anymore. So he served out his sentence in prison. It was said that during his prison sentence, the people that met him in prison said that he was not really remorseful about what he did. That if he hears that someone committed that someone was this X crime on children, that he will be so livid, he will be so angry, he will be fighting them. Will be mad when they would remind him that was why you are actually in prison. They will say no, that he was drunk when he did his own. That does not, that these people did their own with clear eyes. That he was drunk when he committed his own crime, so that they should not equate him with those people that committed their own essay to children with clear eyes. So if it was just forming righteous, we're just claiming that he is righteous, more righteous than other ex-offenders there with him in the prison. So, and he was working out so much, and if they asked him why he's working out, he say so that when they release him, maybe people will come around that they want to fight him because they've released him, that he wants to be ready for them, want to be mentally and physically ready for people that would come to fight him. So they said he could do 1,000 push-ups in an hour. He was working out so much as if he was going for a war. In December 2020, it was announced that Cho Do Soon will be released, and it was actually released in that December. And before he was released, it was as if a president was coming to town. It was coming to that town of Ansan in South Korea. It was as if the president was coming, because the way they were preparing for him, they had to change CCTV cameras, and add more CCTV cameras, the kind of CCTV cameras that will be able to read the person's face and tell the person's age and everything about the person. That will be able to like identify anybody that is walking that route. Then the alleyway that led to his house, they put different types of more CCTV cameras, so that will be able to catch people that would want to go and beat him or something like that. So they prepared everything for him. It was as if the president was coming. They added more security. According to the reports that I read, they said the government spent like $1 million to prepare for Cho Do Soon's release from prison. I said, these people, they have time. They really have time to prepare for this person to come out of prison. They had to get a martial artist to train the police so that they'll be able to protect Cho Do Soon. It's so hard to hear. It's so hard to even hear, to talk about stuff. So they had to train the police extra with martial artists, because Cho Do Soon is being released from prison. They did all sorts. Added more cameras, added more buttons on the poles close to his house, so that if there is any danger, he'll be able to like press a button, then the police will come. They gave him police bodyguards to protect him. The only thing that they did, that they put an ankle monitor for him, so that they will be able to monitor anywhere that he's going to. So they said the ankle monitor will be on him for 7 years. So after that 7 years, he's free to go anywhere and do anywhere. He's free. He's actually free to go anywhere, because he will just wear that anklet for 7 years. After 7 years, he's free as a bird. He's free as air. So he was told not to go to not to be like a mile or 3 miles within any school vicinity, not to be close to children. So those were the conditions for his release, and he's wearing his ankle monitor in the next 7 years. Okay, we are in 2025 now, so he's been wearing, let's say he's been wearing it for the past 5 years now. So in 2027, he will be free as a bird to go anywhere he wants. They said they examined him before leaving prison to know whether he will reoffend or not, and they said he failed that test. So it's more than likely that he will reoffend. So we don't know what's going to happen. They are protecting him. The police are, in fact, he's the most hated man in South Korea and the most protected man in South Korea. The government are protecting him. Every other person hates him, doesn't like the things that he had done and the kind of punishment that he was given. But the government, they are protecting him. Korean netizens are protesting and signing petitions after petitions to take him back to prison, or take him to a halfway house. Take him to a halfway house where he can stay at least for these 7 years, to be sure so that they'll be able to know that he will not reoffend anymore. The Korean justice system kept saying that it would be a double jeopardy for them to hold him after he had been sentenced to 12 years and he had been released. Holding him again without reoffending would be against his human rights. He's still there. He's free now. So hopefully we pray that he will not reoffend. Then his house is very, very close, like 1 mile away from Nayoung's house. So when they released him from prison, he didn't want to move. He was asked to move, but he said he didn't want to move. So, and nayoung's house is not very far from his house, just 1 mile away. So people had to do fundraising for nayoung's family to be able to move out of that area. So, and it's so bad that nayoung had to leave the place of her birth, the place of her childhood, where she grew up, move because of this person that had almost destroyed her life. So, but nayoung's family said that she wants to study medicine to become a doctor. She was able to gain an admission into a very good university in South Korea, to study medicine. So she become a doctor. The only fear that nayoung had, and that her parents had, and that everybody has, is that she will not run into Cho Do Soon. She will not meet him in any way. Their paths will not cross. So that's what they are praying for, and they have been able to move out of where they were staying. And nayoung's family, they were able to sue those police officers that were the police department that were asking her question and all of that. Those interrogation, that kind of interrogation that they did to her, it was what they capitalized on, sue the police, and they were able to pay them 13 million won, which I don't know what it is in dollars. So that was the only thing that came out of it for them. The many medical bills, the state was able to help them in a little way, and people raised funds for them, and they able to clear the medical bill, because it was much for them. Their family is just a low-income family, trying to get by. Them happened to them, and it was just so disheartening. It was just so painful. This girl, they had to construct a new anus for her. They had to. I don't even want to talk about what happened to her reproductive organs. I don't know what will happen with that one. I don't know what happened there, but just pray that she's okay. So Chodosoon is free. Let's hope that this doesn't happen to any other girl anymore. Let's pray that this is the last time we would have to hear something like that from that side again. Just hope. Parents are still fighting that ex-offenders, people that violate children and all of that, they should be able to at least serve a life sentence in prison, not giving them 12 years. And this alcohol thing, it needs to be removed from law. If you do a crime, you do the time. It's nothing like alcohol made you temporal psychosis or something like that. If you do the crime, you do the time. Don't say alcohol made you do this or that, made you incoherent or something like that. No, that's just putting a loophole to the law that will make all these perpetrators go free. What's with serving 12 years? Yeah, served just 12 years from 2008 to 2020. He's out. That's really sad. So thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.